Unity of Houston is an inclusive church where we seek to understand and live the teachings of Jesus and other spiritual masters. At Unity, we welcome all people from all spiritual paths and every walk of life. We celebrate the diversity of our city and of our world, and we teach love, tolerance, and oneness, seeking to live in harmony with open minds and open hearts.
Wherever you are in your spiritual path, you are always welcome at Unity. Join us and discover that the life of your dreams is already within you.
Good evening, Unity of Houston. I am so thrilled to be with you, virtually at least, and I am looking forward to this time, but even more so looking forward to a time when I can be with you in person, whether it's another Wednesday Night Satsang or even a Sunday morning service. But in the meantime, we will allow virtual to work, as it has had to have worked for so many of us in the past year. It's been quite a year, and more than a year, of learning how to navigate this space we've been in with COVID. And even though we are beginning to reopen and re-emerge and resume, we're not quite done with it yet. And many of us are actually finding ourselves in this place of anxiety around the reopening, just as we did with the closings over a year ago. And this is why I wanted to speak with you this evening, because as my talk title, Show Up as God, suggests, we're the ones who get to determine how we walk into the conditions that surround us, because we don't really get to determine the conditions. Now, I know we've got this third unity principle that, says that we create our experience through the power of our thoughts, and that's often been misinterpreted as the external experiences. But what I understand it to mean, and what most of you may have heard, is that no, this is really about our inner experience. This is about creating the inner experience so that we can experience what's going on outside of us in a wholly different way. There's 7 billion of us over on this planet. We individuals are not creating everything. Otherwise, it'd look a lot different for each and every one of us. We're all creating. We're all bumping into each other's creations, and many things happen beyond our control. I believe COVID was one of those things. But we learned, some of us better than others, how to navigate our time through this. So the idea behind that third principle, again, is creating the internal conditions, the internal consciousness that we want to walk through the world in. And through that lens is how we see and experience what's going on around us. So if we choose the internal experience of God, then that's what we will experience. And choosing an internal experience of God sounds rather grandiose. But thankfully, Unity breaks this down for us, for example, with the 12 powers. These are our innate God qualities, these 12 faculties that we have. I'm sure you're familiar with them. There's also joy. There's also peace. And this evening, I want to talk about one which I think is very, very important, which has also been misunderstood a lot, and that is abundance. Yes, abundance is a God quality, because God is all there is. There is nothing that God isn't, or that isn't in God and God isn't in it. It's all in all. So abundance is that God quality. And unfortunately, when we speak of abundance, often it's been couched in terms of manifestation. Again, you've probably heard of the law of attraction. You're probably some secret folks out there, maybe even some old school 4T folks. And if you remember a lot of these prosperity programs, the focus of the emphasis was on manifesting situations, conditions, things outside of ourselves. It was this idea that if we tapped into our divine creative ability, we can bring into our lives whatever it is we were seeking. And because the emphasis has been placed on manifestation, what often happens for some of us is when that stuff doesn't show up, or we are disappointed even when it does, we sort of begin to question ourselves. Did we not have enough faith to make it happen? Or what did I do wrong here? And we can, what I like to call, practice metaphysical malpractice on ourselves. Sometimes there's a lot of anxiety and shame associated with not manifesting. And I'd like to invite you to shift that paradigm, to shift that thinking, and remove the concept of manifesting from the idea, the spiritual principle that is abundance. So let's dive in a little bit here, and this will involve reimagining or redefining some terms. And let's start with the idea of what abundance really is. Because as you know, we live life from the inside out. Okay? So abundance is really beginning as an internal state of consciousness. I like to think of it as a state of consciousness that can be experienced as inner peace, unconditional love and worthiness, and a sense of fulfillment. And if you think about it, this is truly what we are after. This is truly how we want to experience the world, right? Inner peace, unconditional self-love and worthiness, and a sense of fulfillment. And what we usually do is try to create external conditions that make us feel that. But truly, if we're looking at it from a point of view of this is a state of consciousness, we create it within us first, or rather we connect to it first, because it already exists within us. And when we live from it, then we make choices from that place, and we experience ease and grace in life, harmony, a flow of good. One of the things we have to remember is that we don't outwardly manifest strictly what we want. We manifest who we are. And more often than not, we seek to manifest things not from a place of consciousness or purpose, but from a place of pain, or from a place of seeking to avoid pain. So, for example, I'm sure many of us out there spent some time trying to manifest the perfect partner. Okay, why are we really doing that? First of all, you can't manifest someone else, but a lot of it has to do with we are seeking to avoid the pain of loneliness and abandonment. And we figure if we have somebody else in our life to fill that place, then we won't experience that pain. Let's look at a sense of achievement, and professionally or personally. We meet goals and we have qualifications and we progress in our career and we get awards and all that sort of stuff. Not that anything's inherently wrong with those, but are we seeking them maybe because we want to prove ourselves worthy, to avoid the pain of unworthiness, or heal some narrative around unworthiness that we were taught early on? How about the goal to manifest possessions and objects in our life? What is really that about? More often than not, it's connected to our desire to feel safe and avoid the pain of dangerous life. If I have enough money in the bank, then I'm safe because I'm prepared for any eventuality. If I have the certain house in the certain neighborhood, then I'm safe from whatever's going on up there, especially if I live in a gated community. Again, there's nothing inherently wrong with these things, but what is the motivation behind them? Are we seeking to avoid some experience of pain down the line? And when we think about it, fear is exactly that. Fear is the anticipation of future pain. So if we are operating and trying to create our world in order to prevent future pain, then we are seeking, or coming rather, from a place of fear. And again, we don't manifest what we want, we manifest who we are. So if we are stuck in a place of fear, then we are seeing the world through that lens, and no matter what shows up in our life, we're going to interact with it from a fear-based place and then simply create more experiences to be afraid of. And no matter what shows up in our life, maybe it's someone that we love, we will relate to them from a place of fear. We will operate from a place of fear of losing them, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So how do we shift this? How do we create, or rather, how do we uncover, unfold, connect to, live from this consciousness of abundance that lies within us? Because we're inherently divine, so that it's inherently there. We just got to learn how to walk in this world from it. And I believe there are 4 other states of being that we have to every day, every hour, every moment, if we can, live from. And those are forgiveness, acceptance, service, and trust. Forgiveness, acceptance, service, and trust. Fast. This is why I'm calling my upcoming workshop Fast Abundance. It's not that you get abundance quickly, but the moment that you decide to shift to live from these places within you, you will begin to see the world through the consciousness of abundance. So let's talk about each of them just a little bit. Forgiveness, I want to shift that again. Forgiveness is often seen as this making peace with, or come into a place of giving love for whatever happened to you. You forgive someone, you forgive an event. I want to shift that a little bit. And I want us to begin to think of forgiveness as a path to healing the wounded parts of ourselves. And how do we heal the wounded parts of ourselves? We love them. We simply send love to them. We don't try to rationalize them. We don't try to get over them. It has nothing to do with whoever may have inflicted that wound or the event. It's simply realizing that there are parts of us that are wounded, and we live from those wounded parts of ourselves. They get triggered, and we make decisions from them. And to avoid the future pain of those wounded parts getting triggered, sometimes we don't make the best decisions. How do we heal those wounded parts? We love them. Our co-founder Charles Fillmore spoke of love as the great harmonizer, bringing together, heal, making whole. So in order to make those wounded parts be reintegrated as part of our wholeness, we've got to love them. How do we do that? It's as simple as it sounds. We think of those wounded parts. We realize when they get triggered, we feel that place within us where that triggering happens. We know when we get triggered, we feel it in our stomach, we feel the chest tightening, the constriction of the throat, the shortness of breath. Wherever in our physical body we feel that, we breathe and send love to it. This is an embodied experience, not just a mental thought. This is an embodied experience. We sit with the pain of whatever got triggered, and we visualize rays of love, white light, pink light emanated from our heart, our crown chakra, into that area in our body, and we just love that wounded part of ourselves. And when we can do that, then, and also, we then begin to accept ourselves. We begin to accept ourselves as worthy simply because we exist. So many of us struggle with acceptance. We feel that there may be something wrong with us because someone doesn't love us, or because we haven't gotten to a certain place in life, or because things keep happening we don't want to happen. Why is this happening to us? We must not be doing this right. Acceptance is that state of being where we truly, truly realize that as divine beings, we are worthy and we are good enough simply because we exist. And as we love those wounded parts of ourselves, we begin to embrace that more and more. And then we can extend acts of kindness towards ourselves and to others. And that's what service is. Acts of kindness we extend towards ourselves and others. And here's a great thing about being in service that helps us heal, right? Because when we are struggling and wounded, what's one of the first things we want to do? We want to isolate. We want to withdraw. We don't want to let other people know that we're struggling or we feel we're the only ones going through it. But when we're in service to others, we create community with them. We create connection with them. We create this group of people who support us and who love us, and we feel safe with them. And when we begin to feel safe, that's when we truly begin to heal. We can't heal if we are in this place of heightened anxiety, being afraid that we're going to be triggered. And when we isolate ourselves, that's the antithesis of feeling safe. We think if we isolate, we're safe from the world. No, if we isolate, we're just sitting there waiting for something to happen. There's a saying, right? Safety in numbers. That's sort of what this is alluding to. This idea that when we find community and connection with people who love us, there is that sense of belonging, that sense of safety, and then we truly can engage in healing. And then the last one, which is probably the most important, trust. Do we believe that our needs will be met at the point in which we need them? Do we believe the universe, God, spirit, love, all that is, whatever you want to call it, will meet us at the point of our need? And here's the important part. This doesn't necessarily mean before the point of our need. And I think that's where a lot of us get tripped up, right? We are anticipating something's going to go wrong. There will be future pain. So we're trying to prepare ourselves for it. We want to save up for the rainy day. And again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with saving, but are you saving with a consciousness of abundance in terms of wholeness and fulfillment? Are you saving for a specific purpose, to go on vacation and enjoy life, spend time with your significant other? Or are you saving in anticipation of something scary happening? Do you trust that the universe, God, spirit, all that is, will meet you at the point of your need? And you don't know what those needs are going to be because you don't know what the future conditions are going to arise in your life. Everything that shows up for us is an opportunity for us to show up as God. If we live centered in a consciousness of abundance, and if we walk through this world each and every moment in a state and energy of forgiveness, of acceptance, of service, and of trust. So I want to invite you to go deeper with this with me. So on Saturday, July the 31st, after the SEE week, which I'll be one of your guest speakers, we're going to do a fast abundance workshop. And we're going to really dive deep. We are really going to challenge ourselves. And I say ourselves because I'm on this journey with you too. Every day I have to remind myself to live from this place. And it's been fun to see what's happening. Great example is just the other day I got a great donation check from a former congregant. And this check came in and I was so happy for it right a few days before I had some unexpected expenses. So I didn't live in this place of fear of, oh my God, my car may break down. The work car related. My car may break down. This may happen. That may happen. How am I going to figure this out? No, I'm living in that consciousness of one, trusting that the universe will meet my needs at the point that they arise. And it sure did. And the same sort of scenario happened a few weeks after that as well. And I share these examples not to boast that I've got it figured out. I'm sharing these examples to let you know that it is possible. And it's only possible when we are clear to shift from the anticipation of future pain, fear, and come home to ourselves. When we shift from the obsession with trying to manifest things outside of ourselves and come home to ourselves and center in that consciousness of abundance through forgiveness, loving ourselves, acceptance, knowing that we are worthy because we exist, service, extending acts of kindness towards ourselves and others, and just trusting that God, all that is, will meet us at the point of our need. So I hope to see you on Saturday, and it's been an honor to share with you this evening. Namaste.
Thank you for watching this message today. I'd like to invite you to join us in person here on campus at Unity of Houston for Sunday morning or Wednesday evening services. If you can't be with us here on our campus, you can still join us live on Facebook or on our website, unityhouston.org, Sunday mornings at 11 a.m. Central.